Good afternoon, my fellow YouTubers. We are deep in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas, and we're cave exploring today. And I started this channel just about a week or so ago, and we're going to talk about exploring wild caves in the Ozarks and how to find wild caves in the Ozarks. And as we walk through the videos, we'll also talk about caving etiquettes and how we always need to protect the caves and what gear to use. But right now we are at a cave location that my son actually found a few years ago, and we've been calling it Adam's Cave. And I just wanted to show you a little bit about the geology here. We have a thick sandstone layer of rock here. This is known as the St. Peter sandstone. And the area of the Ozarks that we're in today, right below this sandstone layer, there's layers of shale, limestone, dolostone, and all of that's easy for water to dissolve. So what happens is water runs on top of this sandstone, and then where it comes off the edge of it and it finds that really good rock to produce caves, it usually sinks underground and produces some pretty large caves in this area. So here's that sandstone layer that I'm talking about here. And right below this, if you step this way, you'll have to, sorry about all the crunching of the leaves, it's just that time of the year. So right here is the bottom of that sandstone, that thick sandstone layer called the St. Peter sandstone here in Arkansas. And right below that, we do have a cave entrance here, and you're going to go with us today and help us explore it. I also brought the family along, but I think you'll enjoy this. It really looks like it's going to be a pretty large cave system, but you never know until you crawl in. So stay tuned. All right, guys, as you can see, I put on my caving gear, and this is actually the minimal caving gear that you would normally ever take with you caving. Gloves, knee pads, and helmet. It all depends on what kind of cave situation you're going in as to how you will dress when you're caving. Now this cave here, these caves are typically pretty dry. They are usually pretty short. Sometimes they do have large rooms in them, but on the most part, it's hard to say. There's actually a cave here in Arkansas in this same layer of rock with over 5 miles of cave. So we really don't know what to expect. But for this trip, we're going to go in and check it out. If it's something that requires more caving gear, we'll come back and do that at a later date, and we'll be sure to include you guys in on it. So. All right, guys, we're just here in the entrance of the cave, right below the drip line. This is where the cave actually starts. Like if we were mapping this cave, this would be the beginning of the cave. And just inside the entrance, we're already starting to see some cave life. Like right here is a cave cricket, also known as a camel cricket. And these little guys are troglophiles. They'll live either inside or outside the cave. They're cave lovers. They don't spend their entire life cycle in the cave. They venture in and out of the cave. And they're pretty high up on the food chain in the cave. About the only thing that'll eat these inside the cave are the 6-inch long Ozark blind cave salamanders or cave salamanders or western slimy salamanders. We'll see what kind of salamanders we have in the cave, but already we have cave life just inside the drip line here. So there's a lot of leaf litter that's being sucked and blown into the cave. All of that is organic material, and that's food for the animals in the cave. So already one species of animal just inside the cave. We'll probably do just whole videos sometimes on biology of caves, but most of the time, and when you do a biological survey in a cave, most of your animals, at least half of your animals, usually is found right here where the sunlight and the darkness meet. It's called the twilight zone. And so you have a lot of animals that come from the outside down into the cave to feed on vulnerable troglodytic animals that are totally cave adapted. Of course, they're usually blind. And then you also have those animals trying to eat fungus and stuff like that grows on the leaf litter. So you've actually got two habitats here that are kind of intertwined, and that's one of the reasons you see so many animals right around the entrance to caves. So anytime you enter a cave, just be very cautious around you at your surroundings. I mean, there could be loose rocks here that could fall down on you, but also there's also a lot of biology in this part of the cave. So just take your time. You know, most of the time we enter caves, we're real excited, we want to go in, but I learned a long time ago to always go slow, okay? And take your time, because things can fall on you. You could fall down into a pit. I mean, I don't know. There may be a deep pit down here that's 100 feet deep. So it's just real important to slow down, and that's the main key here. And watch out for these little guys. And also right here we have a phoebe nest. That's a type of bird that you see that builds nests just inside of caves. And of course, if those babies fall out of the nest or anything like that, that's just food for the animals in the cave. Not seeing any more cave crickets. Usually in this part of the cave, we see a lot of red-eye flies and things like that. I'm not seeing any of that right here. So, but follow us. We're going to make our way slowly down into this pretty large room. It really does open up down here. I'm guessing this room is probably 250, 300 feet wide, and I can't even see the end to my right. It looks like it opens up into a large chamber going off to the right inside. All these sticks and things like that, of course, that's food for the animals in the cave. This is always a good place to look for springtails and cave mites and things like that in the cave. And there's some gnats there. So, can you see this, April?
Let's see.
I'm gonna start over here to the right and just kind of pan through this cave. Kind of gets really dark back there, but as you can probably tell by my voice, it's a pretty large chamber in here. So even here in front of us, we're probably looking at 150, 200 feet long. And over here, I'm guessing that's probably another 75, 80 feet over here. So April's going to continue filming as I make my way down here, and I'll try to light this room up as I walk around. Pretty good sized chamber here. Real typical in this kind of cave. A lot of times it's just this and they end, but you never know. It may drop right down into what's called the Everton Formation, and usually if it does that, it'll produce a pretty good sized cave system. So just kind of follow me. You can stay up here, April, if you want to, and I'm going to slowly make my way down into the cave and look around, see if I can find any bats or anything like that. Can you see that okay?
Let me see.
I'll start looking like this.
You kind of looking like, oh, I can see some. Here, let me get a little closer. You can always get the kids down here and light it up some more.
All right. So we're down here towards the bottom of the room, and one of my fellow cavers, my youngest son, is coming in the cave. We start our kids out young here. They've all gone rappelling with me and caving with me ever since they were old enough to walk. So, but kind of give you an idea how big this is down in here. So we've got the rest of the family down here, which is 5 children. And when you're with a group of cavers, it's always important to walk single file through the cave, because that actually does less damage in the cave. And as you walk, watch out for ankle breakers and beautiful formations and things like that. So we're going to continue deeper in the cave. I'll have my children behind me, and a single file line. They all know this from past caving experiences, and we'll show you how to walk through a cave with minimal impact. So to the cave. guys, we're underneath a low hanging ledge here in the cave. And right up against the wall here is some absolutely gorgeous cave popcorn or cave coral. And again, like I said, it's actually a coralloid formation, and it is probably aragonite in nature. Aragonite and calcite's basically the same stuff, except aragonite has a little bit different crystal structures. So absolutely gorgeous stuff. Again, one careless caver putting their hands on this and it would destroy it. And so beautiful, looks like a whelp shield trying to form here in the cave. Another beautiful stuff. So this cave is actually turning out to be a lot more beautiful than I ever imagined it would be. So maybe we'll find some more beautiful stuff as we trek up the trail. All right, now guys, the cave that we're in today is definitely not a virgin cave. I mean, there's signs that there's been other people in this cave. And I'm going to show you something that I haven't seen in probably 10 years. It was a real common thing to see in caves 20 years ago. But back in the 1920s up to about the 1980s, when I first started exploring caves, most cavers used a carbide lamp. It was a brass lamp with a reflector with a flame. And how you got the flame is you put this product called calcium carbide in the bottom chamber of this brass lamp, and the top part of the lamp, you would put water in it. It had a valve, and the water would drip on this calcium carbide, and it would make a settling gas. And the settling gas would come out of the tube. I actually have some at the house. I'll try to include that in one of the videos, later videos. But gas would come out of this tip, and you could light it, and it'd give you a flame with a reflector. And that's how you lit your way through the cave. You'd mount that on your helmet. And but the stuff that's left over, most cavers, good cavers, would not leave that stuff in the cave, the spent carbide, but irresponsible cavers would. And it's very toxic to the animals in the cave. Like I said, I haven't seen one of these in probably 10 years, and I'm going to show this to you. This is actually an old carbide dump from a caver. And so after the water drips on the calcium carbide, which would remind you of rocks, little bitty pebbles, it's this stuff that's left behind. So cavers would find a ledge like this, irresponsible cavers, not good cavers. Good cavers always pack it out. But irresponsible cavers would dump it in the cave like this and leave it behind, and then they'd fill their lamp back up for more light. But this was always a big no-no. I can't tell you how many hours of my life I have spent cleaning up these carbide dumps. Unfortunately today, we didn't really bring anything to get that out of the cave. But if we ever return to this cave again, that'll be one of the first things I do. Matter of fact, I'll probably come back to this cave at a later date just to get this out, because it's not beautiful. It doesn't belong in the cave. It's very toxic, and it's just something I haven't seen in a long time. I wanted to share that with you. So if you ever see this stuff in the cave like this, it's really easy just to kind of brush it off into a Ziploc bag or something of that nature and get it out of the cave and try to help the animals in the cave. There's a place in the cave where we're going to have to climb this huge bank. And anytime you get ready to climb in the cave, you always want to pause and look for the safest route. Okay, cavers always go the safest route, not the quickest route, not the more dangerous route, of course. Always the quickest, or not the quickest, but always the safest route in the cave. And also think about, are you going to tear up the cave by going a certain way in the cave? Like if there was a beautiful flowstone on one side over here, a beautiful white flowstone or something of that nature, we would definitely try to pick an alternate route to get up here. So anyway, I've kind of looked at this. We have two trails going up. There's one trail over here that only idiots would go up. Okay, this is the way, if you're an idiot, that you would go up. It's very steep. There's hardly any handholds or footholds, and yes, I could climb that. And I've climbed climbs like this in caves when it was the only way to go. But over here to the right, there's a much easier way to go. Not near as steep, lots of handholds and footholds. And y'all can come along with me as I travel up this bank. I'm always going to try to have at least 3 points of contact. Okay, that's 2 legs, an arm, or my bottom, or my shoulder, or something like that to climb up here. So once it gets real vertical, you'll see me. I'll have hands or feet or something. So always 3 points of contact. I'm also looking how loose everything is. Like over here to the right, I don't know if you can see this, but man, you would not want to climb up there because there's rocks up there that's big enough to make you have a bad day if they were to decide to come down on top of you. So that's out of the question. That there we could get up if we had to, but I chose to go up this way. I see some footholds and handholds up here, and she'll just continue filming as I go up this. Gets real slick. The red clay in the cave can be really slick. Anytime I get ready to climb something in the cave, I usually stretch just a little bit. And take my time and look what I'm grabbing. This here, that's a big rock. And I could probably use that as a handhold, but it's not attached to anything. And it could come loose. So I'm going to decide not to use that. I'm just going to flex a little bit more and come on right up this. That rock there looked really good. Take pause, which is the best route to go. That's definitely the best route. There's some footholds here that somebody's already made me in the cave. So take my time, 3 points of contact. Here's a big rock. I'm a little concerned about it. I don't think it would go anywhere, but I really don't know. So I'm going to leave that one alone. Try to stay away from it. Try to bend. 3 points of contact. Taking my time. And that's how you successfully, safely climb. All right, guys, we made it up the climb all safely, and we're very rewarded for our climb. The cave gets actually really beautiful up here. As you can see, we've got some beautiful white stalagmites. You know, to me, it's not just the white formations that's beautiful. It's the contrast that you get between the black and the white and the orange. Absolutely gorgeous in here. You can see right here where one careless caver either put a hand or a foot on this. And this is something we could clean up real easy, and we might do that one day. But absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful stalagmite over there. Been broken off, but starting to be healed. And if you look up here at the ceiling right above, gorgeous soda straws everywhere. And also, we have a friend of the cave, and this is called a tricolored bat. It used to be known as the eastern pipistrelle bat, and after doing some analyzing on this, I realized it was not a close cousin to the western pipistrelle, which is the smallest bat in the United States. This is the second smallest bat. It is called a tricolored. I believe the scientific name is Pipistrellus myotis, and they put it in the myotis family. But absolutely gorgeous. See the black membrane in the orange color forearm? That's a telltale sign that you're looking at a tricolored bat. Now, these are solitaire bats. They don't like other bats. They just hang out one here and one there. They're not like the social bats where they'll hang out hundreds per square foot. And these bats are being decimated by white nose syndrome. It's a disease that bats are getting. And there's caves that I've gone to for ever since I was 14 years old. And I used to see hundreds of these bats scattered throughout the caves. And today there's no bats in some of those caves. So it's really good to come into this cave. We've actually seen probably 20 or 30 of these tricolored bats scattered throughout the cave. And we're just going to leave them alone and let them do their thing. They're probably in a hibernation stage or a semi-hibernation stage right now. So we're not going to spend a lot of time here. We're just going to slowly move through the cave. But I just wanted to show you this one in the cave. He was actually awake when we came up here. And so I kind of chose him to bother just a little. Now, the reason I stopped here is I wanted to show you that not all breakage in caves is human breakage. There's also a lot of natural breakage that occurs. And here we have this beautiful big column, quite a bit taller than me, broken right here in the middle. Now this stuff is made out of calcite, and calcite is very heavy. It weighs 3 times heavier than water by the same volume. So it's very heavy stuff, sitting on a rock, and the rock is sitting on clay, and all of that weight has caused this to shift just a little bit, and it cracked this formation. So this is not human breakage. This is just natural breakage that occurs in caves. So be careful of that as you travel through the cave. Not everything you see broke is human. There's also natural breakage. We're back at you. We come across another really pretty spot in the cave. A lot of beautiful soda straw formations. At a later film, we'll talk about how these soda straws form and why they're hollow. But they are hollow just like a soda straw. They're long and skinny like soda straws. But beautiful color all along this wall here. And even right here in front of my daughter, there's some beautiful manganese oxide that's coming through with the calcite and the iron. Absolutely gorgeous. All the way around. Some columns, some of them are natural breakage. You can see where they've actually healed themselves. But all through here, gorgeous formations all the way around the corner. I'm really excited to see what's around this corner, because it wouldn't surprise me if it's not going to be equally as beautiful as what we're seeing right here. But again, you never know. We may walk around the corner. It may be the ugliest section of cave I've ever seen in my life. And that is what makes cave exploration so cool. I've been doing it all these years, and all I know is I don't know. So, now, I was right. Right around the corner is really pretty, probably just equally as pretty as what we just saw, but I want to share this with you. There's some beautiful stuff here on the floor, and I wouldn't dare get any closer than where I'm at right now. Some beautiful aragonite popcorn here, and some beautiful white stalagmites. Over here to the right, there's some beautiful stalagmites. On the ceiling, gorgeous soda straws. Look how beautiful these soda straws are. They're beautiful and white, they're clear, they're paper thin. So just if you were to bump that with a careless helmet, you could break those off. And that's something to always remember when you're out caving, is when you have a helmet on, you are 2 inches taller than what you were before you put your helmet on. So it's really easy to break stuff. Here at this column, we have some broken formations here. Definitely probably human breakage would be my guess. All along through here, you can see some scarring on these formations where somebody, looks like they took a rock and tried to break these off, and they were unsuccessful at that, thank God. So, but all around over here behind me, big columns. The cave gets really small back here, but it does look like it continues. But unfortunately today, we did not bring the right armor to go explore that. To go explore something like that, you definitely want elbow pads, really good knee pads. I've got my bump pads on, but my real caving pads are usually from my thigh down to my ankle. My elbow pads are from my wrist up to my armpit. The older you get, the more armor you need. When I first started caving, I thought wimps wore knee pads. Today, I wear a lot of armor when I'm seriously caving like that right there. So we'll save that for a future date. We'll film it when we do that. And but this is known as Adam's Cave. My son was the one who found this when we were exploring here in the Ozarks of Arkansas. And so we just call it Adam's Cave. So maybe look for a video in the future that says Adam's Cave number 2, and we'll go back there and see what's beyond where our light is shining today. Thank you, guys. All right, guys, we've made a safe journey in the cave and then out of the cave. And I'll tell you something an old caver told me years ago, that the only bad thing about seeing a cave is having to leave the cave. Guys, tune in. We'll have more videos coming up soon. Thank you.